Hello and welcome back to the Korean Beauty Show podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Lee, founder of Style Story, where you can shop, learn and explore the world of Korean skincare and your guide to the world of K-beauty. Now, for today's episode, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and that's because I am back in Australia, where Style Story obviously is based, and where I originally started my business. And I thought while I was here, it might be fun just for something a little bit different to have a chat to some of our team members and have a talk through how they actually got started in K-beauty, some of the changes that they have noticed to their skin since introducing Korean beauty products to their routine, some of their favorites, and all of that good stuff. So without further ado, I would like to welcome to the show, to the podcast, Elle, who is, well, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm so excited to finally be on the podcast after listening to it for so long. So I work at Style Story. I have worked there for about almost 2 years, I think now.
Sounds about right.
I feel that sounds about right. That feels about right. I am the Jellicoe marketing manager, and I also run the Woolworths account. So I'm based here in Australia between Sydney, which is obviously where our warehouse is, and Brisbane. So I go back and forth, and yeah, I'm your right-hand man. I like to think of myself as that.
My right-hand man. Okay, I knew that. Yep.
Woman.
Woman.
Yeah, and woo, hot girl.
Hot girl, and that's right. So, yes, as you said, you have been working with us for about 2 years, but you have been using K-beauty products for
so long.
A
really long time. I think... So I had really good skin as a teenager, which was, I kind of wish I had bad skin then, because that's, when everyone has it. But then when I hit like early 20s, I started to have massive problems with my skin. So I was getting breakouts, I started to get adult acne, I was getting eczema, allergic reactions. And that is when I kind of, started to really go into K-beauty and never looked back. Thank God.
Okay, so how would you describe, I guess, your skin type circa now, 2023?
So now my skin is really clear, which I'm happy about, but I'm starting to be like, oh, the early signs of aging, it's happening. So I would say the biggest thing with my skin now is dehydration. That's just, that's what I have to focus on all the time, because if I ignore my routine, or if I just don't focus on my skin, it is just so dry. My makeup won't sit properly, and I can feel it. When your skin gets dry and tight and irritated, you can feel it.
Yes.
Story of my life.
So a story of my life too, as I'm sure everyone who has been listening to the podcast for a while can attest to. Yes, very familiar skin type for me. So, look, I have a feeling we are going to have some crossovers in our routine just because of our skin types. But I'm trying to think. So let's just wind the clock back a little bit. And when you first got into K-beauty, if you can remember, like, this far back, what was, I don't know, what was trending? What were the...
Oh, my God, like, the coolest product to use was that Jeju volcanic clay mask.
Oh, yeah.
Innisfree one. Innisfree was massive. Yeah. To be fair, it is a really great product. So no wonder I stayed. No wonder I stayed with the K-beauty trend, because bloody love that. And Tony Moly was really big at the time. May it rest in peace. Is it still a thing? Who knows? But that was super popular. Obviously, sheet masks.
Yes.
They were everything. Including those, I don't know if you remember these, clay sheet masks. They were like sheet masks with a bit of clay on them.
Oh, yeah.
So not the hydrating ones, like the ones for,
I do remember those ones, yeah.
They were kind of awful, but I'm sure they're still out there in the ether somewhere.
Okay, I don't know. I reckon.
Definitely CosRx Good Morning pH Cleanser.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's still really popular.
Yeah, that is still really popular.
Yeah.
But those are the products that stick out to me from 8 years ago, probably.
That's a while ago. If Tony Moly was trending, that was like early.
Yeah, and lip tints by Tony Moly.
Oh, the bunny one?
Yes, the bunny.
But-
and the bunny facial spray.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
that was lived in all of my friends to this day. Like, do you remember you had this bunny thing and you used to spray it all over your
I
face?
remember that.
I don't know what
Okay.
brand it was.
No, that was
I
Tony. That would have been.
loved that little bunny face
So
spray.
Tony Moly, here's a fun fact. Tony Moly got their start as a packaging company. Like they weren't making the they were making the packaging
because they
for
used to
other
have like a
companies.
little apple and a little
Yeah,
pear
or
and all
hand
this
creams.
cute,
Yes,
cute
it was a
stuff.
packaging company, and then they were like, "Why don't we do our own products?"
Well, good for them because they were
They
a
were
real
very
thing.
cute.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been a lot of people's intro to K-beauty as well. Like the cutesy angle was very, very popular
Yes.
a while back. I have a feeling too that like the trends we're seeing now, particularly with the natural products and the vegan
Right.
and all of that, is like almost a pendulum swing right back in the other direction away from that.
Yeah, and I don't know for sure, but I feel like it was definitely influenced by the West really going to that like bare, they really pulled back on their marketing. Western beauty started releasing bottles and packaging that was just
Very
super
simple.
simple, super clear, and I think that,
But I also feel like because it was so cutesy to begin with, and people kind of associated
didn't take it
cute,
seriously
yes.
for sure. Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
what
I kind of think that they thought, oh, this is going to be really fragrance heavy. It's a gimmick.
a bit junky.
It's a bit junky, and as we aged out of that sort of trending thing, people were like, no, I need something serious. My skin's aging. I've got to take skincare seriously. And as it so happens, K-beauty has kind of followed that.
Definitely, totally.
It's matured up.
It's definitely matured up. The packaging is all a lot more sleek and minimal. I mean, look, I have a soft spot for great packaging, obviously. I think
Totally. I'm with you there. I love a cute
we'll have a good
moment.
package, but also what's inside I think is super important.
Right.
So, okay, we've talked through some of the changes that you have noticed since then. I guess, is there any, like, what of the current trends are you excited about? Or, like, you feel like that is where I'm at with my skincare as well?
Yeah, obviously we're all on TikTok all the time, and if you're not, get on it, guys. Get on TikTok. It's the best. Have just started this year. I'm about to turn 30. So please.
30?
15. For anyone listening out there, I'm about to turn 15. Can't believe it. So excited. Skin cycling.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I have been wanting to add retinol to my skin, and I did it a tiny bit last year. I tested one of the products for Style Story, literally was obsessed with it, loved it, but then I started traveling quite a bit, and the dehydration just took over the planes. Do you know what I mean? Not having water when you travel. And so I shelved my retinol moment, and now I'm like, okay, no, we've got to do this. So skin cycling, I'm super excited about, because obviously the focus is on not letting it really dehydrate your skin,
Right.
and not getting those negative side effects when it comes to flaking and dryness and stuff like that. So I've just started to do that, and I already have noticed a difference. I'm really, really happy. So I'm
What are
kind
you
of keen.
using?
I am using on the retinol days, I'm using the de-age Retin Q.
Oh, the Charm Zone?
The
Yep,
Charm
yep, yep.
Zone. They're
Yep.
really good. I really like them. They actually smell amazing. I know some people are a bit on fragrance. These are really lightly fragranced, and I really like the way they smell. So
That one's been really, really popular, that line,
yes,
actually.
for whatever that is worth out there, I really, really like them. And
Yep.
then on my
You're hydrating.
hydrating days, Jellicoe, Dewy Glaze, toner, more.
The usual
Yeah, the usual suspect. Or then obviously bubble tea steam cream, and using a sleeping mask on those 2 nights as well.
Right.
So
Just hitting it with the hydration.
yeah, and then my exfoliant days are actually the sugar scrub foam as
Okay.
well. But keeping
And how many days are you cycling through?
I'm going day 1 is exfoliant, day 2 is the retinol, and
Yeah.
then day 3 and 4 are both hydration.
Okay, and that's
So it's like
working
my skin's fine at the moment. So it's
Okay.
just a really, really gentle way of introducing them in. And then if I start to feel good with that, I might try what it's like every 3 days. So do exfoliant, retinol, hydration.
Okay.
But I probably wouldn't exfoliate that many times, to be honest. I'd probably keep
feel
exfoliation
like-
to once a week.
That's probably, yeah.
But, go exfoliate and then like hydration, retinol, do that.
I mean, look, I think everyone that listens to the show on the regular would know I am like so overly cautious. So I don't think people need to necessarily be as cautious as me. But my skin like just presses the panic button at the first sign of trouble. So I am always, particularly with exfoliation, retinol, anything like that, I am so careful. But I'm probably too careful, I will say that. But I've had everything.
No, I know you've had reactions. And
literally everything. I've had eczema, I've had dermatitis, I've had acne, I've had...
yeah.
I feel like
everything that you can have, which is good in terms of running a skincare business, because oh my God, I know.
Yeah.
But
over-exfoliation, tick, like literally everything.
I definitely have had a damaged skin
barrier. That's not fun. That is not fun at all. All right, well, why don't you talk us through, obviously you mentioned some products there, but why don't you talk us through, in general, some of your favourite products at the moment, how you're using them, who you think they would be good for. Run us through your routine.
So I don't actually cleanse in the morning because I have dry skin, but at night can't go past Subi Bare Skin Balm. That's like and especially if I've gone out, I'll actually use it twice because I tend to wear a heavy foundation. Okay. So I will use it, wash it off, dry my face, and then do it again and then cleanse with like a powder cleanser. And I know for sure that I am going to bed with clean skin.
Okay.
And while I'm on the Subi thing, twice a week, every single week, I do Hollow Dream, which is the clay mask by Subi with Kakadu Plum. I am obsessed with that.
Okay.
I leave it on for like 4 or 5 minutes, don't let it dry on my skin. If I even have the slightest blackhead breakout, that's it, and it clears it. So I'm obsessed with that. Obviously, I mentioned the Charm Zone. I'm using them at the moment. I really like them, and I would recommend them to people who are like, I want to use retinol, but I'm like, just want to dip my toe in the water. I think that's a really good product to start with.
And which one exactly are you using?
I'm actually using You Will Die at this because I'm using 2 on the same night. So I'm using the toner and then I'm going in and using the emulsion. I'm like, get it.
I don't get it. It's working for you. And
it is working.
This is the other thing. And this is why it's so personal, because what works for some people doesn't work for other people.
Totally.
Like, it really is a matter of trial and error. Do you patch test your product?
Oh my God, I don't. It will make you sick to your stomach, I know. But you know me, I'm like all in. I'm like go hard or go home. I'm just like all over my face, and if it peels off and burns, like we deal with that when it comes. So I don't patch test, but I wouldn't recommend not patch test. I just at the moment don't have sensitive skin so much. So
look, I'm jealous. I'm like, I wish I could get away with that. Anytime that I have tried that, it's ended badly for me. Yeah,
totally get it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite products that I want to give an absolute shout out to, and that I recommend to all of my friends who are around my age, turning 30, and a lot of them are like my eye bags or like wrinkles around my eyes, because obviously the skin around our eyes is super delicate, and you know, if you have like European Western heritage, that's you're gonna really start to notice that as you age. I would say it's one of the first signs of early aging, apart from pigmentation.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Appleby Propolis Collagen Eye Cream. It is, in my opinion, it's the greatest thing I've ever made in terms of eye creams. I actually can't go past this.
I'm a massive fan of that one as well. It's really, really good. It's really popular too.
Yeah. It should be. It deserves to be popular. It is the greatest thing ever. My eyes have come back to life. And then my final thing, cannot live without. It lives in my bag, and I've never been a smoker, but I can imagine that this is what it would be like to have an addiction to nicotine, is my addiction to the D'Alba truffle first spray serum.
I feel like that's my fault. Serum. I feel like that's probably
my God. I'm like a psycho. Oh my God, I'm just spraying all day, every day.
Okay, I feel like that's probably my fault, because I'm pretty sure that everyone that I'm like closest to has a bottle of that. Like,
I am obsessed.
If you have a look on our desks at work in our Seoul office, I'm pretty sure one of the desks has like a mini and a full size.
Oh my God, it's absolutely necessary. It's so funny because I was just traveling with 2 boys who like never even heard of moisturizer in their life.
Yeah.
And I have this in my bag, right? We're traveling and I'm pulling it out all the time. By the end of the trip, they're like, Elle, I really need that face spray that you always use. I'm like, you do need it, hon. You do. And luckily, I've got 2 bottles on me at all times. I'm like spraying everyone I meet. So
I love it. Everyone
that
knows
product
that's
is such a
my
must
favourites.
have.
It is. Yeah.
It's like I would gift that to people on like birthdays, Valentine's Day. Like that is what you're getting from me. If I'm giving you KBD,
But it's a
I'm
good
giving you
gift.
that.
It's a
such
good gift. It looks really luxe. It has beautiful packaging.
And a lot of people don't have that, right? Like if you are gifting someone skincare and you don't know their skin, you know, it might be harder to gift them a cleanser, but this is just like, it's just fabulous, everyone. It's fabulous. Just get it. Just get it.
I feel like I'm responsible for that, so I'm going to take credit.
Yeah, go for
that
it.
product.
Go for it.
All right. Is there anything else that you love that you would like to share?
I do love me a pimple patch. So do you.
Yeah, love me a pimple patch.
Yeah.
Speaking of things I've literally always got in my bag, or probably on my face.
I always have them in my bag. I've got them in that little hollow clutch wallet.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, they live
Very
in
nice.
that. Yeah. And also a good gift to give to, I mean, gift or just like, I just give them to people. I'm just like, why don't you just take this? You go away, give it a go, and then let me know. And then, like, I always get messages being like, shut up.
You've never had any blowback? People like,
I have never had blowback. I have had, and this is an absolutely true story, I think I told you at the time, a DM, like, totally out of the blue. I must have given my friend this, like, 3-4 weeks earlier, and she messaged me. She's like, you just saved my best friend's wedding. She's like, she got a pimple the night before. We were flipping out, like, Windex, toothpaste, what are we going to do? And then she's like, and I remembered I had these, and it was gone the next. So I saved someone's wedding.
okay.
With Korean Beauty.
Just a
And my-
regular old modern day saviour.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not saying I'm Jesus himself, but like if he was alive today, he'd have pimple patches in his pocket. Because they are healing, okay?
Oh, God. All right. Anything else we need to know about? Anyone else's wedding, bar mitzvah?
That has personally been
christening?
saved by Korean Beauty. I'm sure if I put a PSA out there, leave it with me and I'll see how many other lives have been saved by K Beauty. I think a lot.
I mean,
And that's why we're here today.
that's very true. That's very true. I knew you would have a couple of good stories that I feel like. Did you tell me that at the time?
You know what? It probably happens so often to you that you've forgotten.
No,
but
the
it
biggest
is true. I did tell you at the time. I think I said we. I think I tried to include you. I was like, we've saved someone's wedding and life. But I mean, it was you. It was you. But in my friendship group, it's just me.
It's just
It's just me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
like
don't
that
make
one.
the cut.
I
Sorry
like
to
that
say.
one. My favourite one's anytime anyone says that like a product that, you know, they found out about from you has actually made a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a really big thing. Do you know what I mean? It is actually really harder than you think to find products that you absolutely love. And there's so many products out there.
And to try and yeah. And then you
100%.
think you love something and then you try a slightly different product and you're like, oh my God, I actually love this more, if that's possible.
Totally. Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Any other recommendations, tips? Is there anything you're doing maybe slightly differently, using slightly differently from how it should be used that you can share? Little hack that you want people to know about that's made a difference to your skin, maybe.
Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know if this is a thing, so I'm like hesitant to say it.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I know. You're like, oh God, what is she going to say? Anything's possible. My hack has been when trying to get my skin rehydrated, and you've definitely seen me do this, and you're like, what are you doing? But my hack is not to wear makeup, and throughout the day, hydrate is needed. So like, I will keep putting moisturizer
But that's
on
an awesome hack.
Is it?
Yeah.
Or is it like, because you're like, you don't need to keep, I can tell that your
No,
skin's
no.
hydrated, and I'm like, it's not, it's thirsty.
No,
So I like I don't wear makeup.
I have moisturizer in my bag for that.
Yeah, and I just keep
purpose.
moisturizing throughout the day as needed.
Totally. But so
So it's like,
many
for me, it's
products are
bubble tea
designed
steam
for
cream,
that.
right? And
okay,
I'm just
so you
like,
take that around your bag.
I take that around in
But
my
there's
bag.
so many
Yeah.
products like that that are specifically for taking around in your bag. Like a couple of people have said to me recently, you know the Kahi multi-balm?
Oh, the
pink
wrinkle one.
Yes, the wrinkle
yes.
bounce
Everyone
one.
loves that product.
Obsessed with it, but
Everyone
not
is
everyone
obsessed.
gets it. And somebody said that on Instagram the other day. She was like, I've tried it. I saw it in all the dramas. I tried it and I don't get it. And I'm like, I have a feeling that if you are one of those people that just doesn't get it, chances are you don't have dry or dehydrated skin. And you're not the type that needs to be constantly topping up. Maybe you don't live in a really cold climate.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
It's quite a specific product, and they've made it compact on purpose so that you can pop it in your bag and do that. But if you don't have that skin type, that would be a head scratcher.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also the fact that it leaves your skin with that subtle glow. Not everyone loves that.
Totally. I mean, it's like the Subi Hollow Dream mask, right? Like, I've seen reviews before where people are like, oh, it was really hard to get off. Like, it left a subtle shimmer on my skin. Whereas I like that.
Right.
Because if I'm going to bed,
shimmer
it doesn't
is
bother
one of
me,
those
right?
things
If
that-
I'm going to bed, whatever, it doesn't bother me. I just look fabulous hitting the pillow, right? Whatever. But
Some people don't like that.
some people don't like it. But if I'm going out and then I'm putting my makeup on top, it kind of adds like a highlighter-esque
Totally.
sort of thing. So I like that. But then you get
a
people
lot
that
of
don't.
Korean
so it's
beauty
like, okay.
products that will be common feedback, particularly ones that have a little bit of a sparkle to them, primers and things like that.
Yeah, see, I
see
all
that.
about that. Like, I
Yeah.
love it.
That's a very personal.
My highlighter is brighter than my future. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I see the world. So absolutely love anything with a shimmer
a little
or
bit
a
of a shimmer.
little
I
bit
feel
of
like
glitter, little
shimmer
bit of
is
fab.
helpful for people with us with dry, like people that have dry and dehydrated skin, because
Totally.
it
It makes
the
it
light
look-
reflect off your skin a little bit
I
more.
didn't think about that. Maybe that's why I like it so much.
It could well be.
Yes.
I have thought about this because people have said that to me like a couple of times with different products. The Kahi one was just the other day, which is why it's stuck in my mind. But yes, and when I was thinking about that, I mean, look, this is the other thing. When it is a really, really hyped product like that Kahi one is,
Yeah. I mean, that sells out
sometimes
straight away.
yeah, every time.
Every
but
time.
sometimes when a product is so hyped, it's hard to live up to that expectation. And it depends what
totally.
you've heard about it as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you're just like, I've kind of seen it everywhere but don't know what it's supposed to do, and then you get it, you might be disappointed.
I mean, I feel like when products are super hyped up, psychologically, you're either going to go in and you're like, I'm going to love it no matter what, right? And even if it's not the best product ever, you're like, I love it because
Right.
of the hype. Or you go in and you're like, let's see. And you're almost a bit jaded. Do you know what I mean? You're almost a bit
get
like,
it.
could this possibly be as good as everyone says? And so you have the
you reckon
opposite
that's a
effect where
difference?
like it's actually probably better than you think it is, but you're like, no, whatever. I
It
think
could be.
can
Do you reckon
happen.
it's got anything to do with you, whether you're that kind of person? You know, some people are like glass half full, some people are glass half empty.
I mean,
Some people are
maybe.
naturally a little bit more cynical as well.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah. Or like,
let's-
I've tried a lot. Let's see.
Right. I also think that you just hit the nail on the head. Depending on how many products you've tried, and particularly how many
Yes.
products you've tried in a particular category.
Yes,
Do you know
for
what I mean?
sure.
If you've tried absolutely every, for example, misting spray out there,
Yes.
then you have a much higher bar, and maybe you're looking at, you know, really minute differences that someone that's come along and they've tried their second or third product.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many variations in that.
1,000%. And I think, interestingly, one of the categories I would say for that is powder cleansers.
Right?
People are always about the granules and, you know, like how much it lathers and stuff like that. I think people can be a bit like, no, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And I think it also depends what you're comparing it to. Like, what is the product that you have really loved in that category?
Yeah.
For all skincare, not just, you know, sprays or powder cleansers or whatnot. But if there is one product in a particular category that you just think is the bee's knees, to
Yeah.
use a really Aussie expression.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, what would be the equivalent of that in general English? Just like the best thing ever.
Yeah, the greatest thing to ever happen to
The best thing
world.
ever. If you don't have a product like that in a particular category, it's always going to be more difficult for a new product to come along and knock that off its pedestal, just because.
But
of
also what you said earlier, right? Like people have different skin
that's
and different
very true.
products you have for
Different
different
needs
skin,
at
different
different
needs.
times.
You're like, yeah, we do sometimes say like this is a holy grail product. But, you know, I would say that's more for something quite generic, like, for example, Laneige lip sleeping mask, right? Yes, obviously everyone has different lips. Some people have super hydrated, but in general, it's going to be pretty similar. Like, a cleanser is just not going to be that.
That's
not everyone is going to need or want
a salicylic acid cleanser.
the
for example.
same thing from a cleanser.
Right.
So,
100%. That's so true. That's so true. In fact, I tried a new cleanser that someone was recommending to me a few weeks ago, and I actually really, really enjoyed it for what it was. But it's just not the type of cleanser that I normally use.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So even though I could totally appreciate that in its category as like a gel textured cleanser, it was quite a good example. It was non-stripping, it was pH balance, it was all the kind of things that I normally look for in a cleanser. it's just not the kind of product that I normally love using.
Yeah.
It's so personal. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to have you onto the show today, to have a chat through your skincare, because you live in quite a different climate than
For
me.
sure.
You
And
might
travel
have
a lot as well. So my skin is always acclimatizing
to new conditions.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, just to put it in context perspective for people that have never been to Australia before, particularly Queensland, which is, where Style Story started, I guess, or back in the day in Brisbane. It is so humid here. It's really hot.
humid.
It's really humid. So that has a different impact on the skin. The UV is really high.
Super high. I mean, I came from European summer back to Australia for a little bit, and then was in like Central American summer. It's just, you just can't compare the sun. I was just in Mexico, for example. You can go out. Obviously, I go out with sunscreen all the time, but I wouldn't have to reapply. I'd be okay for the entire day. I have Mediterranean olive skin, so that's obviously going to help me a little bit. But in Australia, no way. No. Like, have to reapply every hour.
Yeah.
If I was in the sun swimming and doing this types of things that I would do in Europe or whatever when I'm on holidays, it would really be every hour with a hat and a long sleeve shirt and sunglasses. It's just next level here.
So yeah, it is. Even just coming back this time, because it's been 2019 was the last time I was here. It's been a while between visits, and I'm feeling it. Like, at the end of the day, I'm actually just exhausted because of how hot and humid it is.
Even driving, you might have noticed, like, you've got to be careful of your arms when driving.
Totally.
Even with the windows up, that UV is...
I feel like I need to get myself a pair of those driving gloves.
Yeah, people in Australia do wear those driving gloves. Or, like, for example, I will wear a cap and sunglasses while driving.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, again, the UV, like sunnies, you just can't really get away without sunglasses here. I remember when I first moved to Korea, and people don't really wear sunglasses, and I was like, oh, that must just be a fashion thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it wasn't until I came back that I was like, oh no, Australians need to wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's not a fashion statement, it's actually a requirement.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas we just don't need to wear them in Korea. It's not the same. Like, the UV hits differently.
I sometimes think, if I'm at the beach or whatever in Australia and I've got sunscreen on, but maybe I'm out swimming, it's like, in Europe, in whatever, you feel like, oh, I feel sun on my skin. And in Australia, the way I would describe it is like, I feel my skin cooking. Like, it's like something from within is like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Very true.
Having said that, I love Australia. If you haven't come.
Well, funnily enough, the majority of our listeners these days are actually based outside of Australia, I think.
Okay, well, guys, it's a really cool place. Just bring a hat.
All right, well, we might leave it there for today, but thank you so much for joining me. I hope that our listeners have enjoyed hearing a voice other than mine as well. Maybe picked up a few extra tips and tricks. Hopefully the Aussie accents together weren't too hard to listen to.
Goodness.
We probably should have toned that down a bit. But look, if you could cut through the Australian, let me know if you need subtitles.
Yeah, I was going to say we can get the
transcript
TikTok voice. It's just like a podcast in... Yeah, we can do that for you.
All right, I'm going to leave it here. I will be back in your ears with more K-beauty goodness, I guess. Not necessarily from Korea right now. But I will be back in your ears soon. So until next time, I will see you on Style Story.